Spend all this time writing a script and I don't even know what's on it. Hey everyone, what's going on? Welcome back to another GLHF supply drop. I want to thank all of you for joining me again and for all the great comments and feedback you've left me on the previous videos. So let's go get into this week's. So today's episode is going to be about lawsuits against the fast food and restaurant industry. I mean, if you don't like it, I guess you could sue me, because that's what everyone else seems to do nowadays. If you don't like it, sue it. So we've all come across stories and heard in the news of lawsuits brought against the culinary industry that just seem so outlandish and crazy that they don't seem real. Well, I've done a little bit of digging around, and this week I've found about 3 or 4 that are very interesting and also very real. So I figured I couldn't start this video without talking about the infamous McDonald's hot coffee lawsuit of 1994, not to be confused with the GTA hot coffee of 2004. Dirty, dirty programmers. The case was an issue of product liability in regards to Stella Liebeck's coffee being too hot. Now, the 79-year-old was in the passenger seat of her son's car with her coffee cup between her legs. She went to pull off the lid to add cream and sugar and spilled the coffee all over her lap. The coffee spilled across her lap, causing third-degree burns over a large area of her thighs and groin. Ow. The jury initially awarded her a $2.4 million settlement, which after litigation and everything else ended up being settled out of court for, I believe, a little less than $600,000. If you're interested in learning more about the lawsuit and the case itself, you can check out a documentary called Hot Coffee. It aired on HBO a couple years ago. It goes into what happened, exact details, even showing pictures of Liebeck with the damage that she had. It's gruesome, let me tell you. So with all that being said, let's get into a couple cases that seem a touch on the ridiculous side. Some of these are pretty interesting. So the first case I found comes to us from Mississippi, where an attorney is actually suing Popeyes chicken because he had to chew his own food. Yeah, that's right, chew his own food. So the lawsuit claims that along with knives, so that people can cut their food into appropriate sizes to eat, Newton is also seeking financial compensation for surgery, pain and suffering, medical expenses, and punitive damages. So you hear all this and you wonder, wow, what could have happened? Did he find a finger in his chicken or what? Not even close. So one afternoon, Newton decides to go to Popeyes for lunch. Sounds pretty good to me. Upon getting his order, he drives back to work, looking in the bag, realizing he only got a spork in which to eat all of his food. Seeing as how he wasn't given a knife, the lawsuit claims that he was forced to hold the chicken with his hands and tear off pieces with his teeth. You know, like eating. The lawsuit states that since Newton wasn't given a knife and had to tear off pieces with his teeth, he wasn't able to eat an appropriately sized bite of food, causing some chicken to get stuck in his throat and having to be surgically removed. Chew your food, homie! Newton is seeking about $3 million in damages and such for what happened, and when reached for a comment, a former employee of Popeyes actually says, if you choke on your own chicken, giggity, and have to have it surgically removed, it's not because Popeyes didn't give you a knife. And I can honestly say, I'm sure we all agree with that. Sticking with our chicken theme here, we're actually going to go to Fishkill County, New York, where a woman is suing KFC for $20 million over false advertising. A retiree from the Fishkill Correctional Facility, Ann Wurzberger, stated that she went to KFC and purchased a $20 bucket that is supposedly able to feed an entire family. When she got home and looked inside the bucket, she said that it was barely half full and that there was no way it could possibly feed a family, seeing as how the pieces were so small. Wurzberger says that it's a case of false advertising because the bucket that she got did not look like the bucket that was in ads and on commercials. Well, yeah, when does it ever look like it does in commercials? KFC, trying to solve things amicably, sent the woman several gift certificates in order to make up for the lack of chicken. Wurzburger returned those in exchange for a $20 million lawsuit. When asked for a comment, KFC stated that in their ads, the chicken is seen to be overflowing so that people can actually see the chicken that comes in the bucket. Also, just a little side note, who really expects anything they see on TV to look exactly like it does in real life? And now, to wrap up our lawsuits from across the country, we go to Chi-Town itself, Chicago. Pincus is suing Starbucks, stating that a person who orders an iced coffee really isn't getting as much coffee as advertised. She goes on to state that a customer ordering a venti, which I believe is 20 ounces, is really only getting 14 ounces of fluid in their cup, the rest being filled with ice. Yeah, no duh. If you put 20 ounces of fluid in a 20-ounce cup, you're not going to have any room for ice to make it cold. Venti means 20, says who? Fellini? I love that movie. The lawsuit claims that Starbucks is advertising the capacity of its cups versus the actual liquid that a customer gets in said cups. I thought that's how it always worked. Red blend today. The complaint also takes issue with Starbucks' pricing policy, which charges more for an iced coffee that contains less coffee and more ice than a hot coffee. So it should be less than a hot coffee, even though it has more ingredients. Ice. I don't know. Is anybody following this? The lawsuit filed by Pincus is said to apply to anyone that has purchased an iced coffee from Starbucks in the last 10 years. The complaint says that claims could exceed more than $5 million, which, I mean, to Starbucks probably isn't that much, but hey, people gotta get more iced coffee in their iced coffees. A Starbucks spokesperson said that, our customers understand and expect that ice is a key component in any of our iced beverages. If a customer is not satisfied, then Starbucks will gladly remake the drink. They also went to tweet last April saying that you can order light or extra ice in any of our drinks. So there you have it. A couple really weird lawsuits that just so happen to be in the courts at this moment. You can look them up. I'll include links for each story down in the description. If you like the video, why not just toss me a like and post a comment on what you think. As I did mention before, there will be cooking videos coming, I promise everybody. I've actually got a few things lined up already. We're going to do some scallop dishes. We're going to cook on some salt blocks. I don't know if a lot of you are familiar with salt block cooking, but that's going to be fun. We're probably going to do a hot and a cold dish. So I want to thank you all again for watching. Thank you for the comments, and I will catch you all later.